moving fast, not to let our passer by. Now the John and lots of trouble, couldn't say goodbye. Gonna be the weekend, killing time, killing chances, and killing their own lives. You gotta stop, take a look, and then go. You gotta stop, take a look, and then go. Took his wardrobe from Michigan and back. Money, feeling funny, think you'll never feel the pain. See, believe the better you can, from the matter that's the brother again. No one knows you or hurt you, but you hurt yourself the same. You gotta stop, take a look, and then go. You gotta stop, take a look, and then go. I said stop, take a look, and then go. Stop, take a look, and then go.
Hi, I'm Magoo, and I managed to sneak into Eddie Fiola's house today to talk to him about his life, his riding, and his career goals in the sport of freestyle for the future. Thanks for having us here, Ed.
Hey, no problem.
You've been riding bicycles a long time. I imagine you had to start somewhere. We're in Lakewood here, and I know that's your hometown. You've probably got riding areas that you stomped around in the past, don't you?
Yeah, there's a place called Kitty Banks that we used to ride. It's just a ditch, and that was vertical to us.
Yeah?
You know, a 45-degree angle, and it was the hardest thing to ride at that time.
So that was like the early days of your freestyling as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
Amazing. You've got some pictures you've shown me of dirt jumping and stuff. Now, you never got any press in the magazines for dirt jumping, but that probably goes a long way back for you too, doesn't it?
Oh, way, way, way back. There's this place across the street from the school, and it was just a big ditch jump place, more or less like Bandini Mountain. We were just jumping into a bunch of Bandini stuff.
Well, what made you start riding bicycles?
It took a lot less time to get anywhere. I mean, you know, it was a lot faster and things like that. It's more fun, jumping, hanging out, riding. I had a lot of my friends were riding bikes.
Well, that's the way it started out for everyone, but something pushed you further. I know Lakewood, the old Lakewood Skatepark is a real famous, legendary place that put you on the map. Where was that, and how long ago were you riding there?
That was about 10 years ago when I was riding there, and it was about 7 minutes from my house on my bike. I just rode there every day after school, Saturdays, Sundays. It was just some place that I could go, that I knew that I could ride, that kept me out of trouble.
When did the King of the Skatepark series really begin?
Well, when it began is when they stuck my picture in the magazines right after they had done a full pictorial of Jeff Watson. And Jeff Watson was like the skate park rider, you know, and they didn't know about anybody else riding the skate park scenes. So what they've done is on the underline, they stuck who's better, Watson or Fiola, and that's what started the whole competition. And then they did another magazine shot with Steve Bennett.
Oh yeah, Mr. BioAir.
Yeah, BioAir Bennett. Yeah.
Yep.
And then they went into Fred Becker, and then Morgan. You know, who's better, Watson, Fiola, or Becker? Or
when was the first King of the Skateparks championship? You've won 4 of those, more than anyone ever can or ever will win, and that had to go back to what, 81, 82?
Yeah, 81 was more or less the first free. No wait, it was back in 80. They had a skate park competition. It wasn't King of the Skateparks, but I had won my division. Tinker Juarez was there, and you know, all the big boys.
So this contest grew from the bicycle racing and the freestyle scene.
Yeah.
And you beat them all? How'd you do?
Well, it was during that competition, I was just a beginner and a novice or whatever, and they said that I should have went into the expert division, but I've never entered the competition. I didn't know what it was about and, you know, how it was going to be judged or anything.
That was a good decision. How'd you do at that contest? Did you win the novice division?
Oh, yeah, I won. It was pretty easy. You know, but in the what they call freestyle was a pool competition, you know, and they had a slalom course which was for time, and the slalom course was in like more or less a half pipe, and they stuck the cones on the side of the wall.
Oh, so you carved inside of like a snake ball or like inside of
like a half pipe. It was a long half pipe, and the cones, the slalom cones, were taped against the wall. You had to go up and over the slalom cones. You know.
So what was rad in that day? Now, you know, now it's not uncommon to see guys get 7, 8, 9, 10 foot of air. What was really rad back then?
Oh, if you could get to coping or the tile, you were God.
Now it's Eddie Fiola. He's last year's reigning King of the Skateparks. Are you going to be able to retain your title this year, Eddie?
Well, I'm going to try as hard as I can.
You're second right now to Brian. Do you have a chance of beating him?
I think there's a pretty good chance. Brian's doing really well. I'm going to try as hard as I can.
How do you feel about this skate park as opposed to the other skate parks you ride in?
It's one of the best skate parks that I've rode in because it's the closest one around.
Who are you sponsored by, Ed?
I'm sponsored by GT, Dyno, Vans, and Oakley.
Hey, listen, how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it for about 5 years now.
Have you ever been injured?
Too many times.
How much longer do you think you're going to be able to keep up this kind of competition?
Well, I hope I can keep it up long enough to keep my name in there, maybe to come out with a freestyle frame.
What trick do you think will be the deciding trick in the contest today for you?
Just a traditional one-hander, one-footer, or just grabbing the front wheel.
Eddie, we'll be watching some tape of that last performance in a moment here. How did you feel about it?
It went really good. I just tried to go for a nice high air and to get the crowd going so I can get more points out of it. And then I'd go for something smaller and
what are you doing here, Eddie?
Just rolling around doing a alley-oop rollout. I'll do another alley-oop here. A foot plant, then I'll come out and just start doing like a one-hander here or a one-footer. And then another one-hander comes up next. And then it'll be a one-hander, one-footer after that. That way, things just keep going up and gets the crowd more amped and gets more of a higher score.
That's great. Do you think this will be a good enough run to possibly take this cool competition here?
Well, I hope so, because this is the last contest that I know of until Bob Morales thinks of another one. And I'm just going to try to do the best I can.
Okay, we've just finished this exciting competition here at the Pipeline Skate Park, and we have our 1983 overall winners with us. First of all, in the 17 and over division, Eddie Fiola. Eddie, how's it feel to win?
It feels really good. I didn't think I was going to make it at first because Brian Dean was doing really good. He's a really heavy competition, and he's gonna have a really hard competition next time.
Are you going to be back here next year trying to win it again for the third straight year?
Every year, I'm going to try.
As I remember back in the old days of Pipeline Skate Park, in 1983, Eddie Fiola was the reigning king. He came to the skate park all the time. He practiced real hard. He was the innovator at the pipe bowl. That's where he did his best stuff, and also in the combi pool later on. He was heads above everybody in those days. The local Brian Blyther was pushing hard and trying to emulate him, and Mike Domingos was always on his tail. But Eddie was really head and shoulders above everybody in those days. In 1984, the competition was tougher, but Eddie did remain, at least to my feeling, still the king of the skate park in 1984. He was one of the innovators of some of the tricks, some of the fence plant tricks. Definitely got some of the highest air ever in the pipe bowl that I've ever seen. Eddie, again, to this day, you can go up to the Pipeline Skate Park and see him blasting airs in the pipe bowl and getting real high up in the pipe. I think Eddie showed his class also off the skate park surface. He was able to be with the kids, show them how a pro handles himself off the competition, and it was really helpful to get a lot of interest in that kind of vertical freestyle in those days.
King of the Skateparks champion on the GT performer, Eddie Fiola.
Before we take a look at the second run of the pros, let's take a quick look at the highest air event. We have three contestants in this event: Brian Blyther, Michael Dominguez, and Eddie Fiola. Here he goes, blasting in air. Whoa, Ed! Yeah, I don't know. What do we do? They're marking a, yeah, almost 9 feet. Is that it? That's the world's record, 9-foot aerial. 9-foot aerial. Well, Bob, we're back here at the Pipeline Skate Park. It's 1984. We were here in 1983. It's the king of the skate parks. What are we going to be seeing today?
Well, we're going to see some of the most outrageous bull riding ever in the sport of freestyle, and as expected, we got a nice crowd and some good competition going here today.
I think we got the pros today, right?
Yeah, we got Eddie Fiola, we got Mike Dominguez, we got Brian Dean, we've got a whole host of pros. It's going to be great.
So this is the first competition that there's ever been a pro class of...
Pro, we've even got a pro purse of $500 for this contest.
And I guess we should thank the sponsor of today's event. That's Hutch Bicycles.
Hutch Performance.
He's one of the main sponsors today.
Yep.
Well, I'm ready for the action. Are you?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's take it away.
got words to say there. Oh, yeah! That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun.
It didn't feel as good as the first one did.
You don't think it's as strong as your first run, huh? Well, we got to see what the scores are going to be. We'll wait for you and see. Oh, we've got 100.
It didn't feel as good.
Didn't feel as good yet. Looks like that's going to do it for you. You're going to win.
Going back to the competition scene again, I know you probably have your opinions about the competition scene today compared to the way it was in the old days. Why don't you tell us some of the differences and tell us a little bit about the way you see the sport progressing as far as freestyle is concerned?
Well, like I said before, it was freestyle was one big thing. It was ramps, pool, ground, everything all at one time, and that was a competition. It was a lot harder to judge because you had to judge all these.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're that versatile, then if you're able to ride all of them, then you win.
So freestyle to you then remains that versatility. Then you believe that versatility should still stand today because there's a lot of specialization in freestyle with flatland and ramps. Would you like to see some changes made in that?
Well, I think the changes should be on the pro purse. I think the pro purse should be a lot bigger. I think if you're an overall rider, you should get an extra prize out of that because you're doing both. You're riding ramps and ground. And so you're putting out that extra effort. And if you do good in both, and if you win, if you're an overall person, I think you should, get the most money than anybody else.
Well, there's some guys making pretty good living winning those overall titles, and many of them probably haven't even seen a skate park, have they?
No, not a lot of them. I don't think Dennis rides ramps. Well, I mean, not ramps, but I mean the skate parks and stuff like that.
Yeah, and well, he certainly had the opportunity. Pipeline is someplace you continue to ride even today, isn't it?
Yeah, right now it's the only skate park around, and it's the place to have fun, and it keeps the kids out of trouble and keeps me out of trouble.
Were you among the first riders to take freestyle across the ocean to other countries?
I think we were pretty much the first freestylers to do it. It was Bob Morales and I. We went across the United States, and then we went into Europe, and we did a full month-and-a-half tour, through England, Germany, Switzerland, Sweden. We went to Japan, and the only place we haven't hit was Australia.
And Europe must be, a fascinating place. What's that like?
Europe's really fun. It's an experience and a half. I mean, we've drove in right-hand drive cars on the wrong side of the road.
Oh, man.
And we did a lot of shows to where, I mean, we don't even know what people are saying.
You have announcers that aren't even speaking your language.
Exactly. And I mean, they're just rambling on. We're just going out there and we're doing our tricks and we're having fun. And the show, just two guys, would last an hour long,
So much adrenaline, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the people didn't even know what freestyle was. So we did the basic tricks and then went on to the little bit harder tricks, not like they're doing right now. Freestyle has advanced so much. Back then, it was front wheel pogos.
Was a tough trick?
Was hard. It was real hard. Back wheel hops. A lot of different things. A lot of easy things that people aren't even doing now because they're so easy. But I see a lot of guys that can't do front wheel hops that are doing bar rides.
Yeah, I know. Some people that can do those bar rides probably haven't been told how to do or remember seeing how to do a rock walk even.
Oh, yeah. Rock walks it was how many rock walks you can do in a row.
Yeah. Well, there's still guys doing that, doing rock walks and routines. I think that brings some of the fun back in freestyle. Certainly for the old timers anyway. We don't bring our ramps around to the shows in Europe and things like that because, You're traveling across countries, and continents.
We had to call up and say, hey, this is what kind of ramp we want. We want an 8-foot tall ramp.
And you told them this in English.
Yeah. We told them, we want an 8-foot tall ramp, and we even sent them, designs and whatever. And they go, well, what they came out with was an 8-foot tall ramp with you know, a little bit of vert. This is what we told them, you know, with a, you know, just comes to vert. And they go, okay. So once we got there, we've seen ramps that were 12 feet tall with 2 feet of vert. We've seen ramps that were 8 foot tall with 4 feet of vert. We've seen ramps that were 8 foot tall with no vert at all. You know, full on launch
3 foot wide.
oh yeah. One of our shows, and we did our best on each one of the ramps. There was this one ramp was about 4 feet wide, 8 foot tall, and 3 feet of vert.
Man.
You know, with a platform 2 feet long. So it was.
And you did shows on ramps like that?
We tried. We did our best. You know.
In front of how many people? What was the biggest show you ever did in Europe?
In Europe, probably about 2,500 people.
Wow, that's a good crowd.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing. Well, what other doors, what other opportunities has Freestyle opened up for you?
It's opened up commercial work. I've done a couple commercials, a 501 Levi's commercial, a Mountain Dew commercial, Del Monte commercial, and a Foot Locker commercial. It's also opened up a couple things in the movies. You know, we've done Quicksilver and a movie called Rad.
What's it like on the set of like a TV commercial? I've seen your Levi's commercial, and that was great. What's it like on the set of something like that?
It's a lot different because you're behind the scenes. You're able to see exactly what's going on. You don't see this when you're watching TV, that there's like 52 people behind the camera and they're all looking at you going, you know, expecting you to do this one thing. But it's great because all the people that are behind the camera don't know anything about freestyle. And you do a front wheel pogo, and they're amazed, going, great, that's it, that's what we need, that's what we need. And then you go out and you do a surfer or, you know, a front wheel, you know, 540, and they're going, oh my God, you know, this is
just amazing,
yeah.
Isn't it?
I never have enough shirts, I never have enough shoes, just a couple of pair of 501 blues, that's all I need. You said button fly, I say yes indeed, they shrink to fit everywhere on me. Now I may have to hurry to get some new shoes, but I never have to worry about my Levi's 501 blues. You know, I could use a new tie or two, just to go with my Levi's button fly blues.
You were doing front wheel 540s and G-turns and that. Did you realize it? Did you know it? Did they expect that trick from you?
What it is that when Levi's, the way they get everything so natural is that they don't tell you that the camera's on. They have music playing. They have a couple big old speakers out there, and they just have music playing all the time. And they tell you to go back, you know, come in, go back. We're just focusing.
This is the director telling you all
the
these
director
things.
is just, you know, he's sitting behind the camera going, well, go back. Come over. What was that trick again? You know, we just want to see that through the camera, see how it looks. And by the time they're done with telling you all this, they're telling you to go home. And you're going, hey, you know, aren't you going to shoot this thing? They go, don't worry about it. We got it. You know, so that's why everything's so natural. It's really cool.
Well, are any other commercials that you've done a little more difficult? Were there any memorable, hard parts about doing TV commercials?
Yeah, we've done what was it? The Mountain Dew commercial. And it took like 3 days to do a 30-second commercial.
Wow.
You know, because they had a lot more scenes in it, a lot more cuts to different sections. Jumping into ice-cold water.
Is that something you did?
Yeah, we did. Well, what it was is that the Mountain Dew commercial, they had every guy jump into the water, and we all tried different things. And the best shot that they had, you know, was RL doing his 360, which was, you know, the best section that was there. But we all did it, you know, so it was pretty fun, but it was ice cold.
So they make you do things that they can't even guarantee you might end up seeing on TV then,
Right.
Huh?
A lot of the stuff ends up on the cutting room floor.
Well, plenty of Eddie Fiolas ended up on the TV screen, too.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for the kid that wants to put together a winning show routine at these contests?
You got to remember, if you want to put it as, you know, put a good routine together, you got to do it as a show. You got to have the, you know, the attitude to go out there and have fun. Don't think of it as a competition. Think of it as, you know, going out there as fun. There's a lot of guys that can ride in a circle, you know, a big jam circle, and they do great. They tear everybody up, no problem. But once they get in the limelight, you know, of a competition, they just gel. They start freezing up.
What's your advice for getting rid of those contest jitters then? I'm sure you've faced them at least once.
Oh, yeah. It's just don't think about it. Just don't watch your other man's run. Just go out there and do the best that you can. even though there might be 82 people before you, you're better off just going out there and doing your best and don't think about anybody else.
When you were jumping out of that snake ball in Lakewood 8 or 10 years ago now, did you ever think freestyle would take you this far?
No way, no way. It was, I went out there for fun. It, just gave me something to do. It was something I loved to do. But I never, ever thought it was, it'd come this far as tour, big competitions or getting paid as much as I was and being able to have the toys that I have.
That's amazing. And freestyle can probably take you a few more years into the future, too. What do you think the future holds in store for you?
Well, I plan on doing a lot more shows, a lot more seminars, maybe coming out with some products, maybe even doing a video.
That would be great. You've been in a few of those. Coverage must be something you can never get tired of. And you've got a lot of it, probably more than any other rider in the sport. What's it like getting on a magazine cover?
It's so fun. It's great because you're able to see, say to someone that doesn't know anything about freestyle, and you go into a 7-Eleven or something and say, hey, there I am, I'm on the cover. And it's got your picture on there, it says your name on it and everything, So it's really fun. I don't know how many covers I've got, but there's quite a few.
Yeah, you'd have to, they probably number in the 20s.
Yeah.
You've been on so many different magazines. You've appeared on magazines abroad, too. What kind of coverage did you get in Europe when you were over there?
Europe, a lot of media coverage, a lot of TV things. We've done full-on specials, almost like Good Morning America, but it's in Japan or something like that. And
you've done a lot for the sport to help spread the word about freestyle all over the globe. Magazines, articles, newspapers. What if you were given a chance to convey a single message to everyone who saw you appear in those TV shows and publications, what would it be?
Well, what it would be if you would start freestyle, and if you like the sport and you want to become a freestyler and things like that, you have to start slow. Start at the beginning. Wear your equipment. There's a lot of guys that are out there going, well, I want to do this. I want to do a 20-foot air, and I want to go out there now. I know that I can't do anything right now, but I'm going to go out there and do a 30-foot air or whatever. And he's out there and he's not wearing his equipment. He's not thinking. He's got to you got to start at the beginning. You got to start with the basics. Just do an aerial. Doesn't matter if you go out, just do a foot high, just try to get everything nice and smooth so that you're able to go on to the next day.
Start slow and think safe.
Exactly.
Well, Ed, I want to thank you for having us here today. This has been a lot of fun.
Hey,
I
no
appreciate
problem.
it. That's going to do it for us, Guy. Let's do another thing now. Let's